The flying car in Greece that pops up near the culmination of the film has led to many theories and concepts, so it helps to have the Grease ending explained. Although Grease technically takes place in the 1950s, the contemporary fantasy largely deals with 1950s teenagers grappling with 1970s themes about gender and sexuality. Grease follows the romance between Sandy Olsen, Olivia Newton-John, and Danny Zuko, played by a young John Travolta, and their group of friends as they navigate their senior year of high school and their fears about graduating and becoming adults. One of the most famous and controversial scenes in Grease happens at the end when good girl Sandy transforms into a greaser girl, and she and Danny perform "You're the One That I Want." Sandy's evolution from a good girl into a provocative greaser has been both praised and criticized in the years since the film's release, as has the sudden shift into magical realism when the car flies into the sunset. The ending of Grease has been debated since its release, but what do Sandy's transformation and the flying car really mean? The ending of Grease, explained, offers plenty of clues. Why Sandy changes at the end of Grease? Is it just for Danny? Danny always the counterpart to the woman Sandy wanted to be. Sandy and Danny from Grease during summer nights. Throughout Grease, Sandy, played by Olivia Newton-John, repeatedly struggles with her identity as her friendship with the Pink Ladies opens her up to new ideas about femininity. While Sandy's transformation has been criticized for forcing her to change her personality for Danny, it's the logical end for her character arc of self-discovery, confidence, and her eventual rebirth. On the surface level, Sandy's change might be for Danny. Instead, it continues her journey of questioning her identity, which began with the song "Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee" and concluded with the reprise, when she sings, "Goodbye to Sandra Dee." Sandy's exposure to Danny and the Pink Ladies, whose girl gang has their own Grease prequel series, forces her to grapple with her realization that the good girl exterior is masking the more authentic woman inside. Ultimately, it's Sandy's decision in "You're the One That I Want" to break from her reputation and take what she wants. Completing Sandy's arc towards self-discovery by transforming her into a greaser girl during the Grease ending represents her rebirth and her newfound confidence in her identity. Why the car flies in Grease's ending? The break from reality is a perfect visual metaphor. Sandy and Danny in the flying car in Grease. The most bewildering part of the Grease ending is when Sandy and Danny climb into a car that takes off and flies into the sunset. It's a weird shift into magical realism while the rest of the movie is a fairly standard teen comedy, but a closer look reveals that the flying car fits right into Grease. When the Grease ending is explained, everything comes together. It's not the first fantasy moment, following the dream sequence Beauty School Dropout and the heightened realism of Greased Lightning, and it was almost replicated in the originally planned ending to Grease 2. In addition, the shop teacher aiding the T-Bird sets up the twist, saying that, if it were in any better condition, it would fly. Still, while the flying car is a departure for Grease, it serves as a symbol that Danny and Sandy are quite literally flying into the sunset for their happy ending. Strengthening that interpretation is the popular fan theory that Grease doesn't represent accurate events, but is someone's nostalgic memory of their time at Rydell, explaining the dreamlike quality in the film. In that case, flying a car into the sunset as a representation of Danny and Sandy's happy ending makes perfect sense for the movie. Rizzo's pregnancy scare and ending, what it means. Rizzo's grounded story provides important emotional balance. Stockard Channing as Rizzo, covering up hickeys, in Grease. The polar opposite of Sandy is Rizzo, played by Stockard Channing. Rizzo is a bold and confident woman who undergoes a pregnancy scare in Grease from her relationship with Kenickie. If Sandy represents passive female desire, which becomes active by the Grease ending, then Rizzo represents active female desire. Rizzo's pregnancy scare is a major part of her arc, combined with her inability to tell Kenickie about it because she's afraid he will leave her. Rizzo's struggle with her vulnerability and need to be liked against her confident exterior is her primary crisis in Grease, and one that she is forced to work through almost entirely alone. Although Rizzo ends up not being pregnant, the fear forces her character to grow and become more vulnerable after the experience, culminating in Stockard Channing's heartbreaking performance of Grease soundtrack highlight "There Are Worse Things I Could Do." By the end of Grease, Rizzo's relief that she isn't pregnant helps her realize the opportunities in her future, a moment that the film nods at by lingering on Rizzo when Principal McGee remarks that the next Eleanor Roosevelt could be in the room. Rizzo's pregnancy scare provides an excellent contrast to Sandy, and both represent a woman struggling with the weight of her reputation contradicting her authentic self.